Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. This is the day that the Lord has made, and let us rejoice and be glad in it. We're here. We're in this world this morning. We woke up, and it wasn't the alarm clock that woke you up because you could have slept right through that alarm this morning. It was the grace and mercy of God that got us up this morning. And I thank God for a the start of a beautiful day. Good morning, AKA, and good morning to the other person that's in. Please hit the like and share button on your way in, please, and thank you. I was just sitting here this morning. Last night, I got some good sleep because I turned the TV off and I put the phone down. There's this game that I'm playing, and I'm so hooked on that game. And sometimes I get carried away, and it'd be like 12:30 before I go to sleep, knowing that I have to be up early. And so last night I said, I'm going to put this phone down, and I turned the TV off and I went to sleep, and I had a very good sleep. I had a very good sleep. And when I woke up this morning, I didn't wake up sitting on the side of the bed and say, you know what, I'm gonna just lay here for 30 more minutes and then try to hurry up and get up and oh do my Bible reading for the day, and then start doing my good morning, Shirley, and then start good morning, I'm her, good morning, and start doing, because yesterday when I was talking about how to pray, and God is giving us the instructions on how to pray by still away in your closet and turn out all the noise and stuff like that. So that's what I got up trying to do this more, not trying to, yeah, I'm gonna say trying to do, because my head was filled with so much stuff this morning, right? And so I got up and I made my tea, and I just stood and looked out sometime I'm gonna tell you, if you can, like when I was living with my mom, and my mom live in Lehigh. It's not a big, it's big by land wise. It's really vast. It's really big, but it's small enough to where it's one of the best place to raise your children. The schools are good, and your neighbors, they don't speak. Your neighbors don't come to your house, but they look out for each other. And where my mom live on an acre and a half, right? So then it's this man across the street named Roger. He has a house, and his wife and my mom, they just like, they don't want nobody living too close to them. So he bought his land, and then he bought his land go from one stop sign to the end of a ditch. So he got a lot of, and then he bought the little house that's behind him. So he really don't want, she don't want, because anything Brenda want, Roger pretty much try to provide for. And when I was living in Lehigh, I would go on the mornings that I didn't have to work, or sometime on Sunday morning before I get ready to go to church, I would sit out in the garage around about like maybe 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, sit in the garage, and I could hear the traffic and hear the birds, and see the squirrels run across the wires, and it was just nice. Sometimes in the mornings, just to get up and watch the sunrise, to see the darkness, see how the darkness slip away and run away from the light, and then the colors. I'm telling you, God made all these beautiful colors that are so vivid. And I was just, I feel a little emotional this morning, because I think it's kind of settling in now. And I talk about my granddaughter getting ready to leave to go to school, getting ready to graduate high school, and all the things that she's doing in high school, and all the things that she already have accomplished. thus far in her life. In her 17 years of life, she's accomplished a lot, and she turned out to be a beautiful young lady, respectful, smart. Um, she's just amazing young woman. And so I thought they were leaving to go on their trip yesterday, but they're they left this morning. So I was on the phone. I got up and I thought about it. I said, well, let me call my daughter because she had to get Jordan's phone fixed. And usually when Jordan get her phone number, she'll just send me the phone number. So I asked my daughter, I said, have you got Jordan's phone fixed? She said, Mom, she ain't gave you her number. Said, well, she ain't gave you or sent her number. Let me text you. Text her. So she texts and Jordan, she texts me the number, say, good morning, Nana, I love you, and I'll call you when I get there. And I just start feeling some type of way because Verena, she took her to one of not the school to another school over here by where I live. There's three schools in the area that always compete against each other, and only the schools that come in, that win these competitions are the schools that get to go to this workshop at Disney Resort. And so her school every year her school gets to go on this trip. So she had to take her out to Cypress High this morning. And she said, Mom, I'm the only parent that just waited for I'm sitting in my car waiting for the bus to leave. And I said, you always got to be doing the most. And she said, and is. And I said, well, that would have been me too. Because I ain't never just dropped mine off. I'm gonna sit right there till that bus leave. And I just started feeling emotional. And I said, Verena, how because she usually asks, well, Jordan, how you feel about this being your last school trip? And she said, well, Mom, I didn't ask her that this morning because I know when Jordan want to go somewhere, she said she's been up ever since 4 o'clock this morning getting ready to go. So, and it's just this is her last workshop at Disney. And then she have her senior class trip coming up, and then she have the night when all the seniors just invade Disney World. They shut down Disney World for a night for all the seniors, all the schools that's participating. And it's like her last hurrah. And I am just feeling so I don't, I feel so emotional. I feel happy about it. I'm not sad that she's going away to college. It's just she's leaving the nest now. And I think that's where um my sadness is. But I know she's gonna do well because she was raised well. Yes, yesterday, my daughter sent pictures, and I'm gonna see how I can post her pictures. But I did send them to AKA, and my granddaughter. Oh, when I look at this girl, all I could think about is the day that she was born. The day that she was born, and she had this red hair. She had this sandy red hair with gold streaks in her hair. And I watched them, take her out. My daughter had a cesarean, C-section, and I watched them take her out. And when they placed her in under that little lamp, and I'm just standing there watching her, and the nurse was cleaning her, and she was being what I felt like being kind of rough and stuff like that. So I didn't say nothing, but because my mom is the same way with babies because my mom worked in the hospital as well. And when she put her down under that lamp, and I said, oh my God, she's so gray. And the nurse said, well, she said, if you just wait for a little bit, her color is going to gradually come in. It's going to gradually come in. She's okay. She's good. So I stood there and I prayed over Jordan. And I was asking the nurse, I said, that hair. I said, where did she get that hair from? Where she got this red hair? So the nurse said, oh, well, it's beautiful. And Jordan had red hair, sandy red hair. And it had like little gold streaks, like it been highlighted or something. And I stood there and I prayed over her and I just watched her color change. And I called my mom and I told my mom that she done had the baby. I said, but this baby got red hair. Where she get red hair from? And so my mama said, girl, when I was born, I had red hair. And I asked the nurse, I said, can we dye this? And the nurse said, no, you can't dye that. She's gonna be all right with her red hair. So and by the time they got Verena sold up and cleaned up, but she was out of it. She was out of it. And I just had that little girl in my heart ever since she was born. I had that little girl in my heart. And I don't know why I feel so emotional about it this morning. It's like now it's finally kind of sitting in that my baby really ain't a baby no more. And I have to stop treating her as such. I have to treat her as the um, young woman that she's going to grow, the young lady that she's going to grow into be. And that's kind of emotional. And then when she took those pictures, though that's her. Well, she took two sets of pictures, one for the yearbook and one for the one that I sent you, aka she took those pictures. So I am going to see how I can, put those pictures up, so that you guys can see. And it's so many pictures that's coming. Her prom is coming, her night at grad night is coming, and she has some more pictures that all seniors take with um all their accomplishments. Like she was a cheerleader, she was on the the dance team, choir, uh a mediator for senior class, drama, musical theater. This girl was just a lot of stuff. And she was a junior cheerleading coach and all kind of stuff. And I don't know, I feel so emotional about it. My baby she's not doing baby like things anymore. She's, so I guess that's how all parents and grandparents feel about, and that's what I'm feeling. That's what I'm feeling this morning, y'all. So, but it's all good. It's all good. It's a blessing. Such a big amount. It is. It is. It really is. And I love the village that my granddaughter have, even with AKA helping out, helping her get scholarships and stuff like that. She's a part of the village now. We family now. And she just has such a beautiful village. And, you know, to hear her talk sometime, it's like talking to her mom at times. It's like talking to her mom. And then that takes me further back. But yeah, so I'm gonna try to get those pictures out. I'm gonna do the best I can to just put some of them out on my community board. I'm gonna figure it out. But y'all know this is the day that the Lord has made, and I am so happy to be here this morning. So I'm gonna rejoice and I'm gonna be glad in it. And these feelings, they're gonna come and they're gonna go, and she's gonna make me proud, and it's gonna be it's already all right. As I said, I was watching the dawn turn into day, and it is so beautiful out this morning, y'all, right? So got a lot got a lot that's going on today. Didn't have a chance to go to the gym yesterday, so Lord's willing I'm just make do that because I didn't go yesterday. I went to the eye doctor yesterday, y'all. Let me tell you what happened. I didn't even stay. When I walked into the eye doctor, and I seen all these people sitting there. I saw all the you know what, and I hate to even have to say this. I'm not a race. I'm not a racist. I may be prejudiced. Because my daughter would tell me all the time, and she would tell, well, she tell me and Jordan all the time, y'all racist. And then I'm saying, oh, I'm not a racist. I'm black. I can't be racist. So then I thought about it and I said, no, I'm not racist. I may be prejudiced a little bit. So I walked in yesterday and see, I'm big on customer service. When I walk into an establishment and you do not acknowledge me, whether you like me as a person or not, when you walk into a store, to a business, a doctor's office, or anything, to get any kind of service that you are paying for, I feel like you should be acknowledged. So when I walked in and I see all these people, the way they had how they had it structured and set up, I said, oh no, already I got an attitude when I walked in and I saw it. And then all the people working, and nobody even looked up and say, someone to be right with you, someone to be with you as soon as possible, as soon as we can, we'll be with you. Nobody said that. Girl looked up and didn't even say good morning, didn't say nothing. So the lady, my friend who took me to get go to my examination, she said, well, I got my glasses from here, so let's go. She was saying, well, the glasses on the wall so you could pick out your glasses. And so out of all the glasses that I saw on the cover on all the walls, one pair of glasses, one pair of glasses. I wanted to have at least five choices, and five, I mean, like and I saw one pair, just one pair. And I was getting, the more I was in that building, the more I was getting pissed off. And then I said, you know what? I can't do this. It was full of Hispanics, and it was one black lady. And oh, I said, I can't do this. I can't. So she said, well, you want to cancel the appointment? I said, yeah, just cancel the appointment. She said, do you want to reschedule? I say, no, I don't want to reschedule. I'll just go to one of the doctors over in Cape Coral, because this is a bit much for me. I was just so overwhelmed with the lack of respect and the lack of acknowledging that I was even there. So, just decent, it like I had when I was working at Publix, and they always told us, in orientation, when you see a person, you don't let a person, I think it was the 3-second rule. You always walk up to a person and ask them, "Can I help you find something?" And when they walk up to the deli, it's so proper. It's so easy to say good morning. I'll be right with you. If you're working with somebody else, to just acknowledge that person, to let them know, okay, I see you and I'll be right with you. And it's just easy to, it was just like good morning. Someone to be right with you. And then somebody gonna come from around the corner and gonna say it again. Good morning. How may I help you? It's just so easy. And when I started working there, and before I started working at Publix, I was working at Joann's, and when we would have our morning huddle, they emulated their customer service after Publix customer service. And I'm so accustomed to, when I walk, even when I go to my doctor's office and somebody is standing in front of me, one of the ladies would say, Miss Gray, someone will be right with you. You can have a seat. You already checked in, or Miss Gray will be right with you, or something like that. It's just easy for people to acknowledge people. And then I just say, I want to feel sad for these people sometimes. And then sometimes I be saying, you know, the you then I just be want to say, you know what, that's good for them. That's good. But see, God would not allow me to have that type of heart and feel that type of way about people. And when I do, I have to catch myself, because that is not the way that God will have me to be. I have to be, I have to be a lover of people, love in spite of, love because of, and love regardless of. And I just left. And yesterday when I got home, I don't know if it had to be gas. I had my back was hurting a little bit. And so I didn't really do too much yesterday. I laid around and I took a nap. And me and my daughter, we talked for a little while, and I went to sleep. I took a nap yesterday, which I find myself taking naps in the daytime. And I was telling my daughter, I said, I don't know. I'm gonna have to talk to the doc. Call my doctor and make an appointment because haven't been sleeping good. Then I'm sleeping in the daytime, and I just don't understand. And it's like maybe I need to get another B12 shot or to boost my energy level or what, or I don't know. Maybe I got too much on my mind too or something like that, but something has got to be done. But I woke up this morning and I thank God for the waking up. I thank God for you guys being here. I thank God just to be able to thank God. And then in my morning reading this morning, and it was talking about the symbol of supreme love. And there is no, we cannot love the way God loves. God loves us unconditionally. He loves us unconditionally. We love with conditions. We love with conditions. I love you because I love you. We don't we have conditions on our love. I love you for what you could do for me. I love you for what you did for me. You know, and I'm learning how to love a person. I'm learning how to love people for just who they are. To have that unconditional love, because if I say I am Christ-like, then I have to exhibit some of that Christ-likeness. And in exhibiting some of that Christ-likeness, I have to love you where you are and how you are, because I can't make you in the image of what I want you to be. And I see, going through life, we try to get a person to love us because of. And the more I know about God, the more I'm learning about God. It's like God loved me even when I wasn't loving myself. Didn't have sense enough to love myself. God was loving me even when I was shooting dope. God was loving me when I was smoking crack. He was loving me even when I was popping pills and drinking and, had my whole like tendencies. God was loving me through all of that because he loved me so much. He kept me. He said, I'm going to use you, girl. You go ahead on out there in that world and I'm going to let you do what you do. But eventually I'm going to call you on in. You're going to come on in and you're going to tell somebody about something that I did for you. So, that unconditional love. And like when me and my daughter get angry with each other, it bothers me when I'm angry with her. And I may not speak to her for a couple of days. And then I'm not going, and I say to myself, I'm not calling. I'm not going to be the first one to call. I'm not doing that. So she'll call and she'll say, Mom, I know you weren't going to call. So I don't like it when we're not talking to each other because you my go-to person. You the person that when I hear something, I got to call my mom. Let me call my mama. When something is not going right, let me call my mama, and just pick up the phone and say, let me talk to my mama. I don't like it. So, we have to accept people where they are. And we have to accept people the way that they are. And then we have to look at, I look at myself and it is hard. It is hard loving me and it's hard being my friend. I know that because I'm a hard person and I'm not a demanding person. I'm just a person that have standards and I have expectations. I do not expect nothing that I cannot do or give. And if I'm going to be a good friend to you, then I demand that back from you. And if I'm being respectful to you, I demand that respect back. I'm not that person that a laugh, a joke, or something that's been said, and somebody said, "Oh, that was a girl. I was joking." I don't play like that. I don't play. I do have a sense of humor. I do have a sense of humor, but I don't play. Nice shade. I don't. I don't do nice shade. I don't do shade at all. I try not to. So And I was reading this morning about the symbol of supreme love. And it was talking about in our church, in the pulpit, there's a cross. And on that cross, there's a thorn, a crown made out of thorn. And our church color is purple. When we were deciding, they were saying, well, what color? And then I said, well, purple is the sign of royalty. They was throwing out all these colors. And so I was just sitting there and I said, well, why not purple? I said, purple is a sign of royalty, and we are of a royal priesthood. So purple. So we have a purple slash that's draped over the cross. And when I'm in church, I just sit there sometime and I just look at that cross and remember what that cross is a symbol of. It's not only a symbol of Christ being crucified, but that cross is a symbol of love. And when I was reading this morning, and it was saying how people wear crosses around their neck, and we got little statues of crosses, but do you really know what that cross represents? And I see people with crosses with Jesus still on the cross. And my pastor had broke it down. He said, if you're gonna wear a cross, he said, Jesus is not on that cross anymore. He's not on the cross anymore. He said, I see a lot of people that wear the cross and still have Jesus hanging on that cross. He is not on the cross. He died, he was buried, and he was resurrected. So we still have Jesus hanging on that cross. And if we really, really understood the symbolism of that cross and how Jesus hung, bled, and died for a sick, sinful world and a sinner just like for me. And I look at that cross sometimes and I think about what, you know, what Jesus went through. And then around Easter time, we all hear the story. Every church, every pastor preach about the crucifixion and the resurrection of Christ. And it's getting near that time. I believe Easter is going to be in April. Yeah, Easter is April the 20th. Easter is April the 20th. And you start hearing now we're getting ready to lead up into in Matthew's about the crucifixion of Christ. And I tell you, every year I force some years I can watch that whole movie, and some years I can't watch that whole movie. About the what is the name? By the crucifixion of Christ. I watched that movie. The first time I watched that movie, I watched it with my children when my kids was growing up, and I wanted them to see that. And my son, he started crying. And I said, why are you crying? And he said, they didn't have to do him like that. Why they doing him like that? He didn't do nothing. He didn't do nothing. And I said, we do that to him every day. We crucify him every day. The way we talk about each other, the way we treat each other, the way we do things, the way we don't do things, the way we don't speak up. And sometimes when we speak up, it's not speaking up for the good or the great of a thing or a person. We crucify Christ every day. When we lie, when we gossip, when we plot, when we scheme, when we manipulate, when we're lazy, when we're procrastinating, when we don't pray, when we don't read the word, we're crucifying him every day. And my pastor brought that to our attention. And when something is brought to my attention, I try to work on, if I'm not doing what I need to do or doing it the way it's supposed to be done, it's always in my mind, and I'm ever so conscious about it. And this morning I was reading about the symbol of supreme love. And it was telling how um what is the name of that movie? I God, Lord have mercy. What it the crucifixion of Christ? What is the name of that movie? Um, but anyway, y'all know what I'm talking about. And the movie is so vivid. And the movie, when they was whipping Jesus, cat of nine tails, and in the Bible, it'll tell you what was on. It was what broken bones, and what it was broken bones, and it was something else. When it hits you, it digs into your skin and it rips your skin apart. It just rips your skin apart when they're striking you with this whip. And then to be beaten like that, and then to have your hands nailed and your feet nailed, and to be beaten, nailed on a cross, and they didn't just place him there, they just dumped that cross down in a hole. And the only way that the people that was nailed on the cross could breathe, they had a little stoop on the cross that they can stoop up on and just rise up a little bit before they die. And I said, oh man, that is so inhumane to do that to people, so barbaric. And when I watched the Passion of Christ, when I watched, and I make myself watch the Passion of Christ, because he had passion. He got on that cross. He didn't have to do it. He said, no man takes my life, I lay it down. He didn't have to do it. And so then I be saying, who am I? Because the last command that Jesus gave was to love thy neighbor, love on each other. And I used to hear my pastor wives say, and I used to hear people say, well, I love everybody. Then I'm saying, I just can't say that. And I'm just honest. And my pastor said, Maritha, I appreciate you being honest, because you just tell what you feel. And I do. And I say, I can't. I say, I can't love everybody. I don't love everybody. I just can't. I just can't. I can't love somebody who done mistreated me. I can't love somebody who done talked about me. I can't love somebody who done betrayed me and let me down, and people who done put me down. I remember I told my daughter that I didn't want no funeral in church. And she said, why? I said, Mom, I said, I don't want no viewing. I don't want that. I said, because I don't want people coming looking down on me. And I said, because people already look down on me, and I want people who talked about me and who done did all kind of things to me. I don't want them looking down on me. I don't want them to have the pleasure to go back and say, well, she looked good. I don't want that. So I say, I just want the family to be there. And after the family be there, y'all take me to the cemetery, have a few words over me, and then because I ain't there. I'm not there. That's just a shell. That's just something that I used to be. I'm gone now, girl. I'll be looking down at y'all. So I don't want to put y'all through that. And that's how I really felt. I still don't want a church funeral. Graveside service, don't want no wake, I don't want any of that. And one of my spiritual sisters had told me, she said, Sister Marita, I want you to stop saying that you don't love everybody, because to be a part of the kingdom, and that's a requirement. That's not a prerequisite. I said, well, can I just like them? And she said, there's no prerequisite in the Bible. You either are or you're not, or you're either going to do or you ain't. It said to love. And I struggled with that for a long time. And she said, Sister Marita, I want you to stop saying you don't love everybody. She said, because you got to. You got to. She said, I want you to start saying, I love everybody. I just don't like some people ways. And then when I said, okay, I can handle that. So now I can honestly say I do love everybody. I just don't like the ways of some people. And by me loving a person, that don't mean I have to go along, because I feel like when you love a person, even with your bestest friend, if you love a person and that person and people saying that they love you, when you love somebody, you don't let them walk off a cliff and not say anything. You don't let them be destructive to themselves and then being destructive to everybody else around them. You don't feed into their madness. You're supposed to give them guidance and you're supposed to give them direction. And when you don't go alone to get along. And some people think that's what love is. Some people have never said I love you to their children because they have never heard I love you from their parents. And parents sometimes feel like I'm buying you clothes, you got food, you got shelter, you ain't missing nothing. You ain't liking nothing. We go on family trips. I buy you this. I give you this. So I'm showing you I love you. You could show me in different ways that you love me, but most oftentimes you need to hear that word, because love is a action word. Action mean not only are you showing me, you're speaking it to me. Because and my mom, I never heard my mama say I love you. Never, never, never heard my mama say I love you, because she never heard it. She never heard it. So if she ain't never heard it, she can't tell me. But I made a conscious decision. I said, when I have children, I'm gonna tell my children every day that I love them. Every day I love them. Even when I'm upset with my kids, when they were kids, before we went to bed at night, they would always come in my room and say, Ma, I love you. And I said, yeah, I love you too. And then even when me and Verena talking, me and Hakeem talking, me and Kevin talking, and he said, my son, my oldest son called me Rita. Or sometimes he'll call me Peaches. Or sometimes when he won't, he'll call me Mom. But at the end of a conversation, it's always, I love you. And I tell my kids, I love you more. And when you letting a person know, I feel like when you let especially your children know, and when you say I love you to your kids, that's giving them confidence. That's giving them uh that's letting them know I got somebody in my corner. The world might not like me, but my mama loved me, my nana loved me. And then I have friends, I have people that I do genuinely love. And then sometimes you can love a person, and you have to sometimes you can love a person and it ain't no good for you loving that person the way you love them, and you can love them enough to let them go. Like, I love my granddaughter, but I gotta let her go. I got to let her go. I got to let her go out there in that world to make the mistakes that she's going to make. I love her enough to let her go out there into that world to experience the beauty of the world. I love her enough for her to experience the hatred that's in the world, because as much hate as there is out there in that world, she know the love that she have, that I have for her mom, her godparents, the love that we have for her is much stronger than the hate that's out there. Love is always going to win. And sometimes we be in love with people, and the love is not good for us. The love aggravates our spirit. The love keeps us all discombobulated. That love is not for you. Love a person enough to let them go, to let them go. That's what I tell you. I love this man. I love this man. I'm not in love with him, but I love him. I loved him enough to let him go ahead and, do what it is that he needs to do for himself. I loved him just that much, but I love myself more, because I was tired of feeling the way that I was feeling. I was tired of remembering the good times. I stopped remembering the good times, and I started remembering the times that wasn't so good. The lying, the cheating, all of that kind of stuff. I start remembering those things. And so am I going to love him that deep and not love myself deeper? So there's all different types of love. There's that agape love. That's that love without conditions. That's that love that God have for us. He loves us in spite of, regardless of, because of. And then we had that Eurus love where a mother loves a child or a sister love a brother. We got that husband and wife kind of love. We got that boyfriend, girlfriend kind of love. We have love, and I said all our love is on conditions. We have conditions when we love somebody. And I had to think about that. I had to think about it. Why do I love you? I love you because, see, I love God because he first loved me. Because I did not love God. Because it was too many restrictions for me. I couldn't smoke. I couldn't drink. I couldn't do the things that I was doing. I couldn't, my whole life tendencies, they had to stop. All the things that I was doing contrary to him, I had to stop. And I wasn't ready to stop that. I said, well, okay, if God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son, God allowed his only child to die for me, you, for us, for we. Now, I don't know, and I'm for sure I would not give up not one of my children for this world. I was standing, and I always told my kids, I'll stand in front of a bullet for you. I'll push you out the way if a car was coming, because that's how deep my love is for my kids. And my daughter was having she was having confrontation with this girl all the time. And I told her, look, before I let you mess your life up, I would do something to that girl. I'll go to jail so you wouldn't have to go to jail. That's how much I loved her. But her reply was, Mom, I love you too much for you to allow you to take up something, go sit in jail for something that I did. So now I have to be conscious of what I am doing, because if I go to jail, can't nobody take care of my child the way I take care of my child. And I done been up and I done studied too hard, and I done suffered and sacrificed too much for these nursing license. So when my daughter get angry about something and want to go and test something up, want to be a Tasmanian devil, sometimes I tell her, girl, you better think about them license. And you better think about your child, because see, I can't take care of your child the way you take care of your child. I can't do the things that you're doing for your child. I can't love your child the way the love that I have for her is different than the love that you got for her. I can't love her the way you love her. So you better think about some of these things before you go out there and want to test somebody down and, bust up some windows and flatten some tires and, do all that kind of stuff. You better think about that thing before you do it. And see, when you love something and someone, you nurture that. I love plants. I love plants. I have plants in my living room. Go get some more plants. But in order for my plants to grow, to thrive, I got to nurture them. I got to water them. I got to give them plant food. I got to give them direct sunlight. I got to keep them out the sun. I put my plants in the shower, sometimes so the leaves could get wet and the water from the leaves can drip, trickle on down to the root and stuff. And I put them in the shower. And after I put them in the shower, I just let them sit in the shower and let the water drain, and then put them back in the living room and just have the blinds open just enough so a little direct sunlight or indirect sunlight, can hit them. Or, if they can't have the directs, I put them in a cool place so, they could get the remnants of the sunlight. So when you love something, you nurture it, you care for it, you love it unconditionally. Yeah, that man getting on your last nerve, but that's the man you said, for better or worse, richer or poor, to death do us part. So that's the man you chose. So you gotta love those ways about it. And I used to ask my mom sometimes, and I said, when my dad used to get up from the kitchen counter, and he would leave his the water jug, the water pitcher on the table on the counter. He leave his coffee mug on the counter. He'll just get up and leave. And I asked him, I said, why you do that? All the time. And I asked my mama, said, don't that aggravate you? She said, girl, I pick my battles. She said, pick your battles. She said, Marita, you're going to learn to pick your battles. She said, some battles, she said, you know what? All you got to do just pick that pitcher or that jug and put it in the refrigerator, put the cup in the sink. That's all I'm going to do. Then, she'll say something about, Musala, you left your clothes all over the floor. And then she said, oh, honey. Then, and I said, you don't get angry about that. She said, let me tell you something. All I got to do is just pick it up and put it in the dirty clothes hamper. And the more I do it and he see me do it, eventually he's going to do it. And then I had an issue with, go to the bathroom and just fall right down in the toilet. And I start screaming. I started screaming, put the seat down. Put the seat down. Put it up, so put it back down. You did it, so put it back down. I'm getting sick of falling in the toilet. So, my mom said, Marita, just pick your battle, sweetheart. You can't fight every battle. You can't fight every battle. Pick the ones that you can win. And then, what you're complaining and whining about, eventually it will stop. So that's what I had to learn how to do with my kids. I was to tell my children, clean this room up. Clean. I'm so sick of this room. Nigga. I'm going to close this door. And if I got to go in that room and clean it up, I'm throwing everything away. And then I got so sick of telling my daughter, especially, to clean that room up. Clean your room up. Clean your room up. Clean your room up. I said, you know what? That's your room. When you get tired of that room looking like that, you'll clean it up. So she was working at McDonald's and she put her check down somewhere in that room and couldn't find it. And had to go back and they had to give her another check, cancel that check, make her another check. And then when she cleaned the room up, she found the check. So I stopped arguing with her about the check because it was raising my blood pressure and it just wasn't doing any good. So we love our children. We love our spouse. We love our family. We love our cousins. We love our aunts. We love our uncles. But sometimes when we grow up, when we grow into to be teenagers and we grow up to be adults, we learn things that can make us stop loving a family member, stop speaking to a family member. It says, I read this morning that the love that God has for us is limitless. It's boundless. There's no end to the love that God has for us. So, and I say to myself, so who am I to withhold my love from someone? Who am I to do that? Who am I to hold the goodness and the mercy and the grace and to be gracious to someone? Who am I to do that? Did I help God? Was I there when God said, let there be? Was I there when God flung the stars and the moon and the sun? Was I there? Did I tell God where to place the Little Dipper and the Big Dipper and Orion star? Was I there? Did I tell God, okay, make the moon be daylight for night and the sun be daylight for day? Was I there? So who am I? Who am I to hold the goodness and not tell somebody about the goodness of God? And I feel like if you say you my friend and you don't straighten me and like when you're friends with someone, when you say you a friend with someone, I love her like she's a sister. I love him like that. That's my brother. I love him like a brother. If you love me like I'm your sister, the things that you want for your sister, you want those same things for me. So if you love me like I'm your sister, why are you letting me walk off that bridge? Why are you letting me do the things that I'm doing? Why are you letting me say the things that I'm saying? But you love me. See, the people that I love, they know I love them because I'm a straighten them. I'm a straighten them with love. I'm a and when and even with my mama, when we used to get whoopings and stuff like that, and they tell me, like, if I didn't love you, I wouldn't whoop you. And I used to tell mama, well, don't love me like that. She said, well, don't do the things that's gonna make me love you like this. Because you can tell a child that gets away with any and everything because they become adults thinking they can get away with any and everything. I can look at a person and tell when they was, they doing this now because this is what they always has done, always, did. When I see a child come up and hit a grown person and the mama sitting right there and won't say that, I slap the daylights out of child. And they're like, oh, you can't hit that. Why? They hit me? Well, you grown. I said, and what that got to do with it? Teach your child not to put their hands on other people. Grown or no grown, you're going to get knocked down. You're going to get knocked cold-blooded out if you hit me, because you're going to know not to hit this grown up again. You're going to know not to hit this adult again. And my cousin who passed away, Debbie house used to be immaculate. It was like when you go to her house, you was kind of scared to sit down because you didn't want to mess the sofa up. And she said, actually, do you want something to drink? You'll hold it in your hand. And she'll throw a little coaster on the table right here. You can sit that on there. It was just like you couldn't breathe in her house sometimes. And when you went to her house, it was like you were holding your breath. Her house wasn't like a museum. Her house was always beautiful. It was always clean. It was always nice and pleasant. But it was just the way she kept her house, and she didn't want children. If you came to her house, don't bring your children. Don't bring your children to her house. And so when I was raised in Jordan, and my apartment, it was child friendly because I didn't have nothing in there that she couldn't touch. There was nothing in that apartment that she couldn't touch because that was her apartment as well. So that's where she lived, and that's where she was comfortable. And when people come to my apartment, I always like to make them feel comfortable. But I do be side-eyeing people. I do be side-eyeing people. And then when I see people with their children and their children be like in a restaurant and the child just be carrying on, and even in church, sometimes the children be carrying on in church. When my daughter was growing up, and we were attending the same church, and she said, Mom, you can't hit that. I take the scrap, be taking the scraps off my purse and stuff like that. And my daughter said, Mom, you can't beat them other people chair. And now I see this one little girl in church. I wanted to beat her so bad because she used to be so bad in church. And one day this little girl came up to me and she said, Miss Marita, you don't even know who I am, do you? I said, mm-mm. She said, you remember I was the little girl? I said, girl, I wanted to beat your behind in church every Sunday. I said, well, what are you doing now? She said, Miss Marita, I'm in college now. I said, for real? And even my daughter and people didn't understand how children gravitate towards me, because my daughter said, Mama, you so mean. I don't see why children always coming up hugging you and speaking to you. And then their mama be saying, the way you used to treat my daughter, look at my daughter, not my daughter. That's all she talk about. Miss Marita said, that's not ladylike. Miss Marita said, you got to be a lady at all times. Miss Marita said, you got to act like a lady. And it's always Miss Marita said, Miss Marita said. She said, I don't get it. I said, because I loved your child enough not to overstep my boundaries and reprimanding her or reprimanding him. It's not something that you wasn't doing, or you might have been doing it, but I was just trying to reinforce it. So I got 4 little kids in church right now just love me to death. And when church is over, I be trying to run for them kids. I be trying to run from them because they either want some gum or they want some candy. And it makes me feel good, but it made me feel like them old ladies in the church. And I keep calling people old, and I said I'm one of them old people now. I don't keep peppermint in my church simply because I don't want to be one of them ladies, them old ladies who have a purse full of peppermint. I don't put peppermint in my purse now. I ask somebody for some peppermint, and when I go to breakfast, when we have breakfast at church, there's a bowl with all different kind of candy. I get some peppermint out, but I just won't put no peppermint in my purse because I just don't want to be one of them old women that got a purse full of peppermint. I put some lifesavers or some of that caramel hard candy or something like that. Even that cinnamon candy, I don't even want to do that because that's what all the old ladies got in their purse. That cinnamon red candy and peppermint. And I just feel like loving on someone. I love like this channel. I love this channel because it's not a channel of mess. I love it because um some people when they reach out to me, I take that as an honor, and I take that as I'm privileged because you chose me to tell me to, I've cried with people on the phone. I have listened to people, and sometimes I get angry because of the way that they're allowing people to treat them. And then I have to remember everyone is not where I am. And I can't, and when I'm talking to a person, I let them know, look, honey, I've been through something similar. I don't tell people what to do. I don't tell people how to do that. I don't say, well, if this was me, I do it like that. If I do this and I don't do that because I am not that person. I take it a privilege that you are here. I'm honored that you're here. I'm grateful that you're here. I'm happy that you're here. I'm glad that you're here. I'm loving it because you're here. I don't have to have a multitude of people because eventually the people will come, and if they don't come, that means God had the ones that He wanted to hear what I'm saying. He wanted those people here. So I'm getting over that subscribers either subscribe and I say something or I do something, or I don't say something, or I don't do something, and they unsubscribe. One person to subscribe, and then two or three people are unsubscribe. And I say, I will not be held hostage by subscribers. I will not be held hostage because what I am doing, this is by the grace of God. What I am doing, this is ordained by God. What I am doing, and I always ask God, what is my purpose? Love me enough to show me what my purpose is, whether I'm able to walk in it or do it or not. And this morning I was reading it, and I was reading, what was I reading about? What was it? It was saying limitless. Was reading in this daily bread, in my daily bread that I picked up out of Publix, and it was talking about limitless. Here's how God love for us is there's no end to it. It's boundless. It's from here to infinity and beyond. And and I used to ask God. They used to say, "Well, what's your purpose? What purpose did God put you here?" If He said everybody has a place, and there's a place for everybody in the kingdom, and some here to preach, some here to teach, some to sing, some to clean the church, some, everybody got something to do. Like when I see women making like a lot, I see like how Stormy is came up with this concept of the body glaze and the body oil. That was that was her purpose. Nobody can do it like she's doing it. And when I see I see designers, like these black designers, how they come up with all these different concepts. That's like what God has for you is for you, and your purpose is to clothe the world. And see some people who ain't went to school, not now, to not nail class and could cook just as good, got a catering business and the business is doing good. And that's their purpose. Their purpose is to feed the world, to feed the masses. And nobody can cook the way that they can cook. There's so many different restaurants. Some restaurants doing the same thing, and sometimes may have the same thing on their menu, but it don't taste like the restaurant across the street. Don't taste like what's here. Even with Kentucky Fried Chicken and Popeye Chicken and all these chicken places and all, I like every now and then I go to Mr. Krabs or CJ's, and even they serving the same thing, but it tastes different. It tastes different. So we all have a purpose. And I used to ask God, what is my purpose? What is my purpose? And I used to, like people would come to me at work and say, I'd be in the break room and they be saying, Maritha, can I talk to you? Because I could talk to you because I know you're going to tell me what it is. And I know that you're not going to go back and tell nobody. Can I talk to you? And I say, sure. And, sometimes people don't need to do nothing but just talk and just need for me to listen. And sometimes people just they don't talk and just listen to me talk to them. So we all have a purpose. It was very difficult in I am the oldest, so pressure, pressure. And I don't even know what I was doing, never had to do before, but I started asking for help. And you know what? Don't ever get too big. Uh don't ever be in a place to where you think you could do everything by yourself. Because you can't do everything by you. It took a man to help you get a baby. It took a doctor and some nurses to help you have that baby. So you have to reach out when you need help because you can't do it all by yourself. And I tell people who are taking care of family members, taking care of disabled children, find you a village, because a caretaker needs caring for as well. And if you know someone that is a caretaker, relieve that person, you know, um, and let that person go out if it's nothing but going to the bookstore. Let them go out and just have a breather for a day. I remember it was a lady in church, Maxine, and she was her cousin children. She took her cousin children because she was on drugs, and she had three little three little boys. And one of the little boys got sick, and I laugh because I think about one of the little boys was so terrible. He was so terrible, but that's the one I gravitated toward. And he called 911 to the church one time, and they said, "Well, he did it. Robert did it." I said, "How y'all know he did it?" Because that's something that Robert would do. So I would start, they said, "Miss Ruth, you always take it up for him," and it was just like I just loved Robert. And she had one that he was sick. He was really sick, and eventually he passed away. And the people in the church, she was saying how hard it was to go to work and, to make sure he's okay, to have nurses. And it was just draining, not only financially, but it was draining the family as well. And so in church, we decided every day somebody was going to watch Robert. And I was afraid to do it, but I did it. And I'm telling you, that was the most amazing experience. Me and Robert, we went to GameStop to pick up a little game for him to play. Then we went to eat lunch, and we came back and he played the game. And by that time, it was time for Maxine to come and pick him up. And he told Maxine, he said, I just had the best day ever with Miss Marita. And just to relieve that stress from her, for her to be able to get a good day's work, that's what we supposed to do. We Am I my sister's keeper? And sometimes we have to ask ourselves that, am I my sister keeper? Am I my brother's keeper? And the answer gonna always and always should be yes. Yes, I am. Yes, I am my sister's keeper. I am my brother's keeper as well. So when I love, you know I've gotten close to a lot of people that I've met through social media. There's some that have my number. There's some people that call me every day. There's some people that call me every now and then. They'll just text and say, well, I'm just calling because I haven't talked to you in a while. And I love them for different reasons, and I love them differently because they are not the same. They all are different. And we have to start respecting each other. We got to start loving on each other. We got to be united as a people. We got to start by being united as a group. I am following. Girl, don't say nothing about them butterscotch. I don't even buy butterscotch candy no more. And there's this African leader that I am following on YouTube and Instagram, and this young, and he's a young leader, and I see how he's uniting Africa to make Africa not be so separate, to be one, to be united. And he's doing it out of love for his country. So, and his country, and his fellow country people, and he's doing it because he loves his country so much. He's doing it because he loves the people in his country so much. And when I look at that, that just makes me want to go out and just, fight for my people, fight for my people, fight for my grandchildren, not only my grandchildren, fight for everybody grandchild, because we all got the right to know where we come from. Because if you don't know where you come from, you don't know where you're going. You don't know where you're going. So fight for our rights. I love my people just that much. I'm gonna fight for my people rights. And my friends, I love them enough to let them know, baby. And my friends know how I am. I sit next to a girl in church, a young lady in church, beautiful young lady, lieutenant in the police department. And I love the way her and her husband raising their children, and I love how she not only is she a mother first, she's a woman of God. She's a mother, she's a wife, she's working, she's part of the Divine Nine, she's a Delta, she's going to school to get her doctorate, and she still find time for church activities, she still find time for her granddaughter is more or less doing the same thing that her daughter is doing the same thing that my granddaughter is doing, the little girl in everything, and her mom and her dad, they make time for these children, they make time for each other. And and I love to see that. I love to see that. And so we have to forge a path forward. We have to keep going forward. We have to let the things that behind us stay behind us. The things that was in the past, let them stay in the past. And like I was telling you yesterday, that unforgiveness that you're harboring, let it go. Because if you don't, you can't move forward looking back. Because you're going to bump into something. You're going to have a car wreck. You're going to be discombobulated. You're not going to be all together there because you're constantly looking back. You're constantly remembering back. You're constantly remembering when. And start remembering when and look forward. Move past all that. Get to where it is that God loved you so much that he gave his only son. And when God starts chastising you, that don't mean that, he's angry. He loves you enough to keep you going straight, to get you straight, to keep you straight. And chastisement is a form of love. I didn't understand when my mama used to whoop my behind, because I don't have brothers and sisters, so I can't lie on my little brother. I can't lie on my little sister because I didn't have them to lie on. It was me. It was always me. And when my mama used to tear my behind up, I used to be saying, this lady do not love me. But my mama used to work mama used to get up early in the morning, drop me off to somebody's house until it was time for me to go to school. Miss Eva, Big Mama, dropped me off to Big Mama house where other kids were living, was other kids there as well, because their mamas and daddies was doing the same thing. Would drop me off to Big Mama house, and it was time for us to go to school. We all walked to school together. And my mama would wake up 4 o'clock in the morning, walk me to Big Mama house, go catch a bus, to go to the bus, to work in the field. When she came home from the field, pick me up from Big Mama house, make dinner, go to the packing house. But when I had a piano recital, when there was a PTA meeting, when it was a play, anything that I was doing, my mom was always there. She was always there for me. I didn't get everything I wanted when I wanted it, but I got the things that I wanted and I got the things that I needed when my mama felt like, okay, and then when my mama went and got her GED, and then she started being a nursing assistant in the hospital, and she would have to still get up early in the morning. Now I'm big enough to stay home by myself until it's time for me to walk to school, and a friend come and knock on the door, passing by, so we could all walk to school together. And because my mama would have to go from Immokalee to Naples, and that's an hour drive right there. But no, about 45-minute drive right there. And then work all day. And when she come home, my mama always had a little gift for me. Always had a little gift for me. That to me, that was love because that wasn't something she had to do. That's just something that she did. And my daughter would tell when my daughter was in college and then she got pregnant and she decided right there she didn't want to go back to college because she got a daughter. She got to take care of her daughter. So the children, the youth department was having a youth day, and the lady who was over the youth department wanted the girls who done graduated from college, graduated high school, went to college, and most of them done had babies, and want them to come back and talk to the youth. So my daughter came up when it was her turn to come up and talk. Everybody else had a script that they wrote, and but Verena didn't. And Verena said, my mama loved me so much that I was afraid to tell my mom that I was pregnant when I went to school. She said, I didn't really want to go to college. She said, I went to college because that was something that my mama wanted. But when I got to college, I had to learn. I had to take that serious because not only did my mama have to pay back loans, other people, was pouring into me. So I had to be what I needed to be when I was in college. She said, yes, now I have a baby. And she said, my mama helped me so much with my baby. She said, my mama don't do it because she have to. My mama do it because she want to. And my daughter was telling the children, she said, y'all need to listen to when your parents talking to you. You need to listen because the things that they're doing for you, they don't have to do it. They could give you the bare necessities and that's it. But when your mom and dad is going up and beyond for you, you're supposed to listen to them. She said, now that I have a child, I understand what my mom was saying. I understand what my mom said. You'll do anything for your child. You'll love your child just that much that you'll do anything for them. So now I understand that. So love is an action word. And if you're not showing the action behind the word, the behind what you're speaking, that's not love. Every now and then, let somebody know that you love them. Let somebody know every now and then that you love them and live with loyalty. I don't have brothers and sisters. I'm just going to say this to you. I don't have brothers and sisters. I watch my children. I watch my children as they were growing up. My oldest son, I didn't raise him. My mom and my dad raised him. But Verena and Hakeem, I watched them grow up. And I watched the dynamics between them two. And to this day, Verena take on the role as a mom towards her brother. Um, Verena was working at McDonald's at the age of 15. When she got paid, she made sure if she bought something for herself, she bought something for her brother. She always made sure that her brother had. She took, it was like he was her son, and she took care of him. She chastised him because I was working at this time. I'm out of my addiction. Now I'm trying to get things straight with my addiction. And she used to tell me, "Mom, Hakeem's scared of you. He's really afraid of you." So she nurtured him. And sometimes, as the oldest, you do have to take on them responsibilities for whatever reason. As a child, not even knowing how to do things, but there's no book to tell us how to be parents. There's no directions. It's a on the job training. As you go, you learn. And when you become an adult, it seems like that role still, you still have that role. I watch my kids as they are being adults now, and I'm gonna get ready to get off. As adults now, my daughter feels like, with her little brother, he's gonna always be her little brother. And my oldest son always feel like Hakeem is gonna be their little brother, even though this is a grown man with 6 children. He is still their little brother, and they still feel like he's responsible, that they are responsible. But when it gets overwhelming for them, they have to take a break. Take a break. And I say this to you. May God be your strength. Let God be your strength, and let God lead you. And whatever way God lead and direct you, that's the way that you go, because you cannot overlook yourself. You cannot stop taking care of yourself. You cannot neglect yourself mentally or physically. You love them, but you have to love them enough to say no. I ain't got no problem with saying no. I ain't never had a problem with saying no. And at some point, you're gonna have to say no, and you're gonna have to look in that mirror and look at yourself and see that you are worthy. You are worthy, because the Bible says you're more than worthy. And if God says that you're worthy, then you are worthy. You are. You're worthy of your happiness. You're worthy of having peace. You're worthy of having that joy. Even when you say no, you still worthy. Even when they feel like you done did everything you could do, and sometimes it don't feel like it's enough, and they get angry because you haven't did what they need for you to do, you still worthy. You still worthy. So at the end of the day, we all need some love. And that's why I like it here. And that's why I like for when people come here and you feel comfortable enough to discuss or say whatever you're feeling. There's always somebody here that's gonna wrap their arms around you. This is a village of lovers. This is a village of encouragers. We are a village. We are our sister's keeper. And I say to you, live with loyalty. If you need me, reach out to me. I'm here for you as well. AKA, I talk to a lot of people, and I love, there's a genuine love that I have with people, that, and it surprises me, because I sometimes, when I think about when my daughter say that I'm mean and stuff like that, and I say, how can I be mean? And I have these loving people that love me, and I love them back, and I love them back. So y'all, let's just go out in the world today and just spread a little love. Just what the world needs now is love, sweet love. That's the only thing, that there is just too little of, and that is so true. That is so true. Be kind to somebody. Love somebody. If you on your way to work or you already at work and you going down to get a snack or going on break to pick up a snack, pick up something for somebody. Pick up a cup of coffee, a donut for somebody. Have a kind word, an encouraging word for somebody. Hold a conversation where you're just not talking about somebody. Take somebody out to lunch. You know, Buy somebody a pair of eyelashes. Just do something nice for somebody today. That's right. Make it a great day and smile. On purpose. On purpose. Just do it on purpose. And whatever good you do for somebody else, good gonna come back to you tenfold. And you're not gonna do it just because you want somebody to do something good for you. Do it because that's what God would require us to do. To be kind, to be patient, to be loving. Be part of that fruit. Pluck one of those fruits of the spirit off the tree. Pluck one of those fruits off the spirit and see when you do good for others, how good come back to you. In whatever form it comes back to you. And as always, I love you. It ain't nothing that you could do about it. I love you to life. I love everybody to life. And when you holler, I'm going to holler back. So I'm going to say peace out, deuces, because today is the day that I get started on this workshop that I will be going to later on tonight, 5:00 actually. It's for church. I signed up for it. And it's like, it's a choir, workshop. I'm not in the choir, but I wanted to be a part of this workshop, but I didn't know the workshop would go be so intense, right? So the pastor sent me the itinerary for the workshop, and I said, well, okay, well, damn, I didn't know I want to do that. Last night I was trying to make up all kind of excuses why not to go, and then I would think about having my daughter call and lie, but I said, I can't do that. I want my word to be my bond. I said I was going to be there. So now I'm going to go out and get myself prepared. I got some laundry to do. I might go to the gym for about 30 minutes, no more than 30, 40 minutes, go to the gym and stuff like that. And remember, tomorrow is the day that we're blacking out. We ain't spending no money on nothing. So whatever you need, you go and get it today or go and get it Saturday, because we ain't spending no money nowhere. We ain't buying nobody no coffee tomorrow. We ain't buying ourselves no coffee tomorrow. So whatever, if you need gas, go ahead on the gas your car up. If you got a half a tank and you can wait to Saturday, wait to Saturday. We gonna do this and we gonna get united come hell or high water. We gonna be united as one. So everybody, aka Shanice, live with loyalty. Shirley, that's my girl Shirley. I love that name. Divorce finally. Shirley said she got up out of that. Shanice, Sean, hey girl, Sean, Carrie, I am her. Y'all, the people who was watching, the people who is watching, y'all just have the best day ever. And holler at me. And I'll holler back. And I talk with y'all tomorrow, Lord's willing. So y'all going out there to be the best that you can. Be encouraged and be an encourager. Love on somebody and you'll get the loving back. So I'm going to say deuces, peace out, and bye. I holler and holler back.